The secret code of quantum manifestation. Most people approach quantum manifestation like it's an elaborate secret they need to decipher. Spending years practicing complex techniques and rituals, they've been taught that manifestation requires strict protocols, specific words, and perfect visualization. What if I told you that the very complexity you've been taught is exactly what's blocking your manifestation? What if the secret code isn't a complex formula, but a simple frequency alignment that most people overlook because it seems too easy? The problem isn't that you haven't found the right technique, it's that you're searching for complexity when the solution is elegant simplicity. The quantum field, what scientists describe as the underlying matrix of all potential, surrounds us constantly. This infinite field of energy and intelligence doesn't respond to effort or struggle. It responds only to frequency and resonance. This is where conventional manifestation techniques fail. They focus on doing, striving, and forcing when the quantum field only recognizes being. The harder you push, the more resistance you create. The more you chase, the farther your desires seem to run. This explains why your manifestation efforts often feel exhausting and ineffective. The quantum code isn't about asking the universe for what you want. It's about resonating with the frequency of what you desire until you become indistinguishable from it. In quantum physics, there's a phenomenon called the observer effect, where particles exist as waves of possibility until observed, at which point they collapse into definite form. Your consciousness is doing this constantly, collapsing waves of possibility into your experience. But here's the paradox most people miss. Observation from a state of expectant trust collapses very different possibilities than observation from desperate need. When you observe reality looking for evidence of lack, you collapse more lack into form. When you observe from wholeness, possibilities remain open. What's your experience with manifestation so far? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're finding value in understanding these quantum principles, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more insights that actually transform your manifestation practice. Think of the quantum field like a vast ocean containing every possible state of existence. You're not trying to create a specific wave. You're learning to surf a wave that already exists. Imagine standing on the shore with a perfect wave already formed in the distance. You wouldn't try to create that wave with your hands. You'd position yourself to catch it as it arrives. Yet it would be logically impossible to catch a wave while staying firmly planted on the shore. The solution is simple. You must enter the water and align with the wave's movement. That's what quantum manifestation is, not creating something from nothing, but aligning with what already exists in potential form, allowing it to flow into your experience through frequency matching. Neville Goddard spoke about this quantum principle decades ago, calling it living in the end, the practice of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled until it hardens into fact. Joe Dispenza approaches this scientifically, teaching that you must become the energy of your future before that future can become your reality. He demonstrates how elevated emotions literally change your energetic signature in measurable ways. Abraham Hicks describes this as getting into the vortex, finding the vibrational frequency of what you desire and matching it rather than focusing on its absence. These teachers all recognize the same fundamental truth. The secret code of manifestation isn't in what you do, but in the energetic state from which you operate. Why do so many people struggle with this seemingly simple principle? Because simplicity terrifies the ego. Our culture has programmed us to believe that value comes through struggle, that transformation requires pain, that anything worth having must be difficult to achieve. We've been conditioned to equate effort with worth, complexity with importance. This creates the great paradox of manifestation. The more you chase something, the more you energetically affirm its absence in your life. Every desperate attempt to manifest abundance actually broadcasts the frequency of lack. Every anxious effort to create health radiates the frequency of illness. This is the hidden trap in conventional manifestation techniques. They often reinforce the very conditions they're trying to change. The version of reality where you already have what you desire isn't some distant future to be created. It already exists within the quantum field. Quantum physics demonstrates that particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously, a phenomenon called superposition. Similarly, all possible versions of your life exist simultaneously in potential form. There is already a version of you experiencing perfect health, abundant wealth, and fulfilling relationships. Your job isn't to create these realities through force or effort. It's to tune into them through resonant frequency. You don't need to build your desired reality brick by brick. You need to shift into the reality where it already exists. The question isn't how do I create this, but how do I access what already is? You've likely tried many conventional manifestation techniques, vision boards, affirmations, visualization exercises, gratitude lists. These practices aren't inherently wrong, but they fail when they become mechanical, when you're going through the motions without shifting your energetic state. Creating a vision board while feeling lack doesn't work. Reciting affirmations while doubting their truth doesn't work. Visualizing success while feeling unworthy doesn't work. These techniques become empty rituals when disconnected from your energetic state. The gap between saying and being is where most manifestation practices break down. It's not what you say that matters to the quantum field. It's who you are being when you say it. This distinction is the true secret code of quantum manifestation. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains this scientifically through the concept of your electromagnetic signature. Every thought produces an electrical charge in your brain, and every emotion creates a magnetic field around your heart. Together, they form your unique electromagnetic signature that the quantum field responds to. Your thoughts are electrical, and your emotions are magnetic, together creating the broadcast that determines what you attract. This isn't metaphorical, it's measurable. Brain scans show different electrical patterns during different emotional states. Heart monitors detect different magnetic fields depending on emotional coherence. The field doesn't respond to your wishes or wants. It responds to your electromagnetic broadcast. This is why feeling the emotion of your desired reality is crucial. It's the magnetic component that actually draws that reality to you. Let's use abundance as a practical example. Many people affirm financial prosperity while feeling financial anxiety. They visualize wealth while worrying about bills. They set income goals while feeling unworthy of receiving. This creates energetic incoherence, a mixed signal to the quantum field. Imagine two people starting the same business. One feels excited, confident, and already abundant. The other feels desperate, anxious, and afraid of failure. Same actions, completely different electromagnetic signatures. The quantum field doesn't respond to their business plans, but to their energetic broadcasts. This is why two people can take identical actions and get completely different results. They're operating from different frequencies, even while doing the same things. This understanding connects directly to neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself based on thought and experience. When you mentally rehearse an experience, really feeling the emotions of already having what you desire, your brain doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality. It begins creating new neural pathways as if that experience were actually happening. This is why visualization works, but only when it includes the sensory and emotional components. Through consistent mental rehearsal, you can literally rewire your brain to match the brain of someone who already has what you desire. Your body begins to believe the future is already happening now. This neural restructuring changes your baseline emotional state, which changes your electromagnetic signature, which changes what you attract. Manifestation isn't about asking the universe for favors or trying to get something you don't have. It's about finding the version of yourself who already experiences the reality you desire. It's about shifting states of being, not accumulating things or experiences. When you understand this distinction, manifestation becomes about resonance rather than effort. You don't need to work harder to manifest. You need to align more precisely with the frequency of what you want. This is why forcing never works. You can't force a frequency shift. You can only allow it through alignment. The quantum field isn't something outside you that you need to convince or impress. It's the very fabric of consciousness that you're immersed in and inseparable from. In quantum physics, superposition means that particles exist in all possible states simultaneously until observed. Similarly, all possible versions of your reality exist simultaneously in the quantum field. These possibilities aren't distant futures to be created. They're present potentials to be collapsed into experience. The collapse of the wave function isn't caused by action, but by focused observation, the consciousness you bring to your experience. This is why your attention is so powerful. What you consistently focus on with emotion is what you collapse into form. The quantum field isn't out there. It's the underlying fabric of reality itself. You're not trying to reach something distant. You're selecting from possibilities that already exist within the field you're part of. Most people live in a state of mental chaos and emotional incoherence. Their thoughts contradict their desires. Their emotions conflict with their affirmations. Their actions oppose their intentions. This creates what scientists call destructive interference, where waves cancel each other out rather than amplifying. When your heart and brain are coherent, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned, you create constructive interference, where waves amplify each other. The Institute of HeartMath has measured this coherence between brain and heart, showing how it creates a measurable field around the body. The quantum field responds to this coherence, not to isolated thoughts or occasional affirmations. Mixed signals create mixed results. Coherence creates consistent manifestation. Your emotional state directly affects your biochemistry. Positive emotions like joy, gratitude, and excitement trigger the release of dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, neurotransmitters that not only make you feel good, but actually enhance your brain's ability to recognize opportunities and solutions. Negative emotions like fear, anxiety, and frustration trigger stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which shut down the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for creativity and higher reasoning. This is why it's literally impossible to manifest effectively from a state of stress or fear. Your brain's architecture changes, and you become biologically incapable of perceiving the opportunities that are right in front of you. Your emotional state becomes your point of attraction, not just energetically but neurologically. One of the greatest challenges in quantum manifestation is consistency. Most people shift their energy for a moment, don't see immediate results, and revert to their previous state, like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to check if it's growing. Quantum coherence requires energetic consistency. This doesn't mean you never experience negative emotions. It means you don't dwell in them. You acknowledge them, process them, and return to the frequency of your desired reality. Think of it like tuning a musical instrument. You don't tune it once and expect it to stay in tune forever. You continually make small adjustments to maintain the correct frequency. This energetic consistency is what allows the quantum field to reorganize around your new frequency without being disrupted by constant fluctuations. When your vibrational state stabilizes at the frequency of what you desire, reality begins responding in kind. This isn't magic. It's the field reorganizing itself to match your coherent signal. You'll notice synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that can't be explained by chance. You'll receive unexpected opportunities, intuitive nudges, and moments of sudden clarity. People resonating with your new frequency will appear in your life. Solutions to problems will emerge naturally. The path forward will become clearer, not because you're forcing it, but because you're tuned to the frequency where that path already exists. Remember, you're not creating these opportunities through effort. You're noticing what was always available but previously invisible to you because you were tuned to a different frequency. At this point, you've moved beyond positive thinking into energetic authorship. You've crossed the bridge between possibility and embodiment. Your perception of reality has fundamentally shifted because you've shifted. External circumstances might not have completely transformed yet, but your relationship to them has. What once seemed like obstacles now appear as opportunities. What once triggered fear now inspires creativity. This transition from observer to author is the essence of quantum manifestation. You're no longer reacting to a reality happening to you. You're participating in the creation of a reality happening through you. This is the difference between being at the effect of life and being the cause of your experience. Let's be honest, this is where most people get stuck, not because they don't intellectually understand these principles, but because they don't know how to become the frequency they're trying to manifest. They know how to think about abundance, but not how to feel abundantly. They know how to visualize health, but not how to embody the energy of vitality. The gap isn't in knowledge, it's in embodiment. Thinking about the energy of abundance is fundamentally different from being the energy of abundance. This is the difference between conceptual understanding and energetic incorporation. You can understand electricity perfectly without being electrified. Similarly, you can understand quantum manifestation perfectly without being transformed by it. What we're really talking about is accessing high-frequency emotional states that align with your desired reality. Neuroscience shows that these elevated emotions create what's called gamma coherence between your brain and heart, a measurable state where your neural oscillations synchronize at higher frequencies. In this state, your nervous system becomes receptive to new patterns and possibilities. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information, begins to notice opportunities it previously filtered out. Your brain releases neurochemicals that enhance creativity, pattern recognition, and intuitive insight. This isn't just a spiritual concept. It's a measurable neurological state that you can learn to access intentionally through practices like meditation, breathwork, and emotional regulation. You've probably felt frustrated that your manifestations seem to take too long or don't materialize as you expected. You've likely questioned whether these principles really work or if you're doing something wrong. I want you to know that you've always been closer than you think. The gap between where you are and where you want to be has never been about distance. It's been about frequency. You're not broken. You're not behind. You haven't missed some secret technique or special knowledge. You've simply been operating from a frequency that doesn't match what you're trying to create. The shift is simpler than you think, but it requires something different than what you've been doing. Not more effort, but more alignment. Let this be the moment where you stop trying and start remembering. Let this be the point where you cease struggling to become and simply embody the version of yourself that already lives as if your desires are fulfilled. This isn't about creating a new future. It's about stepping into an existing potential that's always been available to you. What would change if you lived today as if you were already the person you're trying to become? How would you move differently? How would you speak differently? How would you feel differently? This isn't pretending or fake it till you make it. It's quantum jumping, collapsing a potential reality into your experience through coherent focus and embodiment. This is your quantum event, the moment everything can change, not because circumstances shift, but because you shift. If this message is resonating with you, I invite you to type 777 in the comments below. This number sequence represents divine alignment and perfect timing, the collapsing of potential into form. When you type these numbers, you're not just engaging with a video, you're declaring your readiness to step into energetic coherence with your desires. You're signaling to the field that you're open to a new way of manifesting, through alignment rather than effort. And as more people join in this declaration, we amplify the collective field, making this frequency more accessible to everyone. This simple act becomes a vibrational signature that ripples out into the quantum field, creating a resonance that can shift not just your reality, but the collective field we all share. There is nothing to wait for. All versions of reality already exist in the quantum field. The version of you that experiences perfect health, abundant wealth, fulfilling relationships and aligned purpose isn't some future self you need to create through effort and time. It's a frequency you can tune into right now. It's not something you build brick by brick through action. It's something you collapse into form through aligned consciousness. This understanding transforms your relationship with time. You're not working toward a future reality. You're selecting from parallel timelines and vibrational adjacent worlds that already exist. This is why some people seem to manifest instantly. They're not creating something new. They're simply shifting to a reality where what they desire already exists. You cannot fake this process. You cannot pretend to feel abundant while anchoring in doubt. You cannot fool the quantum field with superficial rituals or intellectual understanding, divorced from embodied knowing. The field responds to your authentic vibration, not to what you think you should be feeling. This is why integrity is so crucial in manifestation, not moral integrity but energetic integrity, the alignment between your conscious intentions and your subconscious beliefs. The power isn't in the techniques. It's in the vibration beneath your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This is both the challenge and the liberation of quantum manifestation. You can't fake it, but you don't need to. You only need to align with what's already true at the deepest level of your being. I invite you to make this more than a video you've watched. Let it be a frequency portal you've stepped through. From this moment forward, approach manifestation not as something you do, but as someone you become. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. We are all part of the same quantum field, the same wave of consciousness, the same movement toward greater coherence and alignment. What shifts in one part of the field influences the entire field. Your personal transformation contributes to collective evolution. And most importantly, remember this: you are not becoming powerful. You are not learning to manifest. You are remembering what you've always been: pure consciousness with the inherent ability to collapse waves of potential into particles of experience. This is your birthright. This is your nature. All that's required now is to live from this knowing,